The disappearance of 4-year-old Marjorie West on Mother's Day, May 8, 1938, remains one of the most enduring, unsolved missing child cases in United States history. Over the decades, the story has inspired countless newspaper headlines, television specials, true crime blogs, and a handful of investigative books, yet no conclusive answer has ever emerged. Today, our episode may be shorter than usual, as this case is from 1938 and resources are limited. Welcome to The Evidence Locker. Marjorie West was born on June 2, 1933, in Bradford, Pennsylvania, the youngest of 3 children born to Shirley, the father, and Cecilia, also known as Celia West. Her older siblings were 11-year-old Dorothea and 7-year-old Alan, sometimes spelt with 2 L's, sometimes 1. That's a bit confusing, but old records are like that. The West family lived a modest life. Shirley worked as an assistant engineer at the Kendall Refining Company, while Cecilia tended to the household. Physically, Marjorie was often compared to the child star Shirley Temple. She had curly red hair, or blonde in some later descriptions, ringlets, freckles, blue eyes, and a distinctive red or navy blue dress with a pink collared coat and a Shirley Temple-style hat. The family was close-knit and religious, attending a local church each Sunday. The area where the tragedy unfolded was the Allegheny forest near Bradford, a heavily wooded stretch dotted with abandoned oil wells from the 1870s petroleum boom, rattlesnakes, and the occasional bear. The forest's rugged terrain, thick underbrush, and numerous streams made it both a popular hunting ground and a hazardous place for a child to roam alone. On Mother's Day, May 8, 1938, the West family left Bradford after church service for a picnic at White Gravel, also referred to as Marshburg, along U.S. Route 219, about a 40-minute drive south of town. They were accompanied by family friends, Mr. and Miss Lloyd Ackerland. Around 3 p.m., after the adults had set up the picnic, the children were instructed to pick wildflowers for their mother. Dorothea and Marjorie wandered over to a large boulder where they collected violets. Their father warned them about rattlesnakes that might be lurking near the rock. While Dorothea went briefly to hand the bouquet to their mother, she left Marjorie alone beside the boulder. When Dorothea returned a few minutes later, Marjorie had vanished. The girl was described as playing hide and seek, a favorite game of hers, but she never emerged. The family immediately drove 7 miles to the nearest telephone in Kane to alert authorities. The disappearance sparked one of the largest manhunts ever seen in the U.S. up to that point. Within hours, local volunteers, members of the Civilian Conservation Corps, and the moose and elk lodges converged on the forest. By the following day, roughly 500 men were combing the area, and the search quickly grew to involve over 3,000 citizens and 500 police officers. The various search tactics involved included flashlights and headlamps. All available flashlights in town were pressed into service as night fell. Bloodhounds. 2 New York bloodhounds were brought in on May 10th. Reports claim they followed Marjorie's scent half a mile to a nailed-shut cabin, but the cabin yielded nothing. Other accounts state the dogs stopped at the road next to the clearing. Systematic grid searches. Troopers marked covered lanes with colored crepe paper, eventually sweeping about 90 square miles. Clearing hazards. Searchers killed rattlesnakes, checked abandoned oil well holes, and examined streams for any sign of a child. Despite the massive effort, no footprints, drag marks, or clear signs of Marjorie's whereabouts were found. A few items were recovered: a scrap of lace, which did not match Marjorie's clothing, and a bouquet of crushed violets, the very flowers she had been picking. A freshly dug pit turned out to be a wine cask storage hole, not a grave. Police quickly learned that 3 automobiles had passed the picnic site that afternoon. 2 were identified and cleared. The third, a speeding Plymouth sedan, remained a mystery. Witnesses reported the Plymouth forced another car into a ditch, suggesting a possible hurried escape. A more dramatic lead emerged from Thomas, West Virginia, later that night. A taxi driver claimed that at 11:38 p.m., he saw a weeping girl matching Marjorie's description riding in a dark green sedan with an unidentified man in his 30s. The man asked for directions to a motel, was told none were available, then inquired about a liquor store. A gas station attendant later reported seeing a bundle wrapped in a gray blanket in the car's back seat. Investigators calculated that the 8-hour drive from the white gravel area to Thomas matched the timeline. If the abduction occurred around 3 p.m., the pair could have arrived in Thomas by 11 p.m. However, the man's identity was never established, and the sighting has never been corroborated. Let's get into the theories that have popped up over the years. First is a bear or animal attack. Given the forest's wildlife, a bear attack was an early hypothesis, yet no drag marks, blood, or screams were reported, and investigators found no physical evidence to support this scenario. 2. Abduction by passing motorist. The lack of a body shifted focus toward kidnapping. The unidentified Plymouth driver, the West Virginia taxi sighting, and rumors of a, quote, nomad living in the woods all fed this theory. 3. Tennessee Children's Home Society. Some researchers linked the case to Georgia Tann's notorious child trafficking ring, the Tennessee Children's Home Society, which abducted hundreds of children between 1932 and 1951. No concrete evidence tied Marjorie to the organization, but the theory persisted because of the era's widespread child abduction fears. 4. Adoption or relocation to Canada or the South. Speculation also grew that Marjorie might have been taken to Canada or the southern U.S. for adoption, a practice not unheard of in the 1930s. 5. The Sylvia London claim. In the early 2000s, author Harold Thomas Beck, often cited as Harold Thomas Bud Beck, investigated a claim by Sylvia London, who said her mother's deathbed confession revealed that a couple had rescued an unconscious girl, later identified as Marjorie, after a car accident on Mother's Day. According to the story, the couple raised the girl as their own, naming her Sylvia. Beck published Finding Marjorie West in 2010, presenting age-progressed photos and asserting that Sylvia was indeed the missing child. The claim remains unverified. Neither the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children nor local police have confirmed it. 6. DNA and modern forensic efforts. In 2012, Pennsylvania State Police obtained DNA from a West family member and entered it into the CODIS missing person database, hoping future evidence might match. Additionally, 2 of Marjorie's cousins provided cheek swabs for comparison, but no matches have been reported to date. Some investigators suggest that testing Sylvia London's surviving daughter's DNA against the West family profile could finally resolve the matter, though it is unclear whether this has been done. Harold Thomas Beck had a role in reviving public interest in the case during the 1990s through articles and a dedicated website. After contacting Dorothea West in 1997, he obtained family photographs, corrected newspaper inaccuracies, and began age-progressing work using Dorothea's adult images to model what Marjorie might have looked like as an elderly woman. Beck's investigative journey included posting a $10,000 reward for information, traveling to meet tip sources, including a Florida nurse who resembled Dorothea, and publishing Finding Marjorie West in 2010, which argued that Sylvia London was the abducted Marjorie. The book sparked controversy. Some family members accused Beck of profiting from their tragedy and of making false promises to Dorothea. Nonetheless, his work remains the most recent comprehensive attempt to solve the case. The Marjorie West case has been featured in numerous media formats: a grunge.com article, an Oldies October YouTube video by Gabulosis, and entries on the Charlie Project and various true crime websites. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children once labeled it the Great Unsolved Mystery of the Missing. Memorials and community remembrance persist. On the 70th anniversary, 5th grade students at School Street Elementary conducted research projects to generate new theories. In 2018 through 2021, serialized articles in the Mountain Laurel Review revisited the case, keeping local interest alive. Despite the passage of more than 8 decades, the case remains officially unsolved. No suspect has ever been charged, no body recovered, and no definitive forensic link has been established. The West family, particularly Dorothea's descendants, continue to hold out hope that Marjorie may still be alive, though the odds are slim. Marjorie West's disappearance is a haunting snapshot of a bygone era. A child's innocent outing turned into a nationwide mystery that has survived wars, the rise of forensic science, and the digital age. From the frantic 1938 search that mobilized thousands, through decades of speculation about bears, kidnappers, and secret adoption rings, to the modern DNA database and Beck's controversial Sylvia London theory. Each chapter adds layers to a story that still demands answers. Whether future technology finally puts a name to the girl seen on a West Virginia highway, or the case remains an unsolved footnote in true crime lore, the tale of Marjorie West continues to remind us how fragile a moment can become a lifelong enigma. This show is written and hosted by me, Shay, and edited by my husband Toby. This has been The Evidence Locker. Please give us a like and a follow, as it really helps weirdos like me keep researching even weirder cases like this. I'll see you next week. Stay curious, stay safe. Join us as we open another locker.